Twist. Okay, so anyone here has read Oliver Twist? I believe this probably this is one of your book report book that you read for book report, or probably this is one of the books that is recommended for your literary classes. Any of you have heard about this?
Just a little, ma'am.
Sorry, Jihan, what did you say?
Just a little. Not. I read it not in the complete book, but it's like a summary of the story.
Okay. Anyone know who is the author who wrote the Oliver Twist? Okay, I give you 5 minutes to find out. Google it. Google it right now. If you haven't had this in your literary classes, but I don't believe that your lecturers haven't talked about this at all. I believe this is such a legendary classic uh, uh classic novel. So check it out. Google it right now. 2 to 5 minutes. Do it now.
Charles Dixon.
Thank you, Yoga. Okay. Charles Dickens. Okay, tell me about it, Yoga. Oliver Twist. What you knew about Oliver Twist?
I haven't read it, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay, so Google it now. Google what is the story about, and then when it was published, what's the background and things around it. So this is a classic movie, not movie, novel. Everyone knew about this. I still
Se-
remember. I read this.
Sekitar tahun 1838, men.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Itu
you. Go on.
itu tentang, kalau kalau nggak salah, udah pernah baca cuma udah lupa. Itu tentang anak kecil yang udah dibawa pindah ke kota dan kenal sama salah satu temannya, dan lebih ke kayak dark world gitu, mem. Lebih ke ya
Yeah.
dunia kelam gitu.
Yeah. So it was a sad story, wasn't it?
Eh, Kalau nggak salah, iya awalnya di set story gitu, men.
So
Ya.
what is the main theme of the story?
Aduh, udah agak lupa, mem.
Okay, now Google it. Everyone Google. Yeah, grab your smartphone, find out what is the theme, the context, the background of the story.
I think it's realism, ma'am.
Say it again, look, please.
Realism.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about it.
In Indonesia, ya, ma'am.
That's okay, because it's what you mean by realism here. Thanks, Lulu.
Uh, saya rasa ini realism karena pada saat-saat itu, eranya Charles Dickens itu, novel-novel yang diangkat, karya sastra yang diangkat itu paling banyak mengangkat cerita tentang kejadian-kejadian yang dekat dengan kehidupan. Jadi itu realisme. Apalagi ini kisah yang diangkat adalah kisah tentang seorang anak kecil yatim piatu dan segala permasalahannya.
Thank you, Lulu. Yes, okay. Lulu just explained to us about what she meant about realism, about the depiction of the reality, social reality. That was the context of the story. Thanks, Lulu. Anyone would add something? I'm still waiting. Let's make the story complete. What was the setting of the story? Which part of the world, which period of the story became the setting of the story? Come on, I have nearly 20 students here. What did you find on Google? Hello.
So Oliver, an orphan since birth, he spent much of his childhood at a child farm or orphanage. The orphanage have many children and too little food, and the farm, located roughly 70 miles outside London.
Mm, yeah, that's right. Okay, thanks for completing it, Wafi. Okay, my next question is it's a kind of like broader question, a broader perspective about the novel. What was the ideology? What was the value embedded in the story? What kind of message the story is trying to say? What kind of, you may also think something like, what did the author try to criticize or try to protest? What was the ideology of the author or the country that shaped the overall story? Think about it. 2 minutes. Think about this. I haven't heard from Nasafa, Vivi, Putri Laura. I haven't heard from you, Sasa, Nabila, Fajar.
So from what I read on Google, Charles Dickens is kind of like ahli dalam poverty di London, as he himself was a child worker. Lalu Oliver Twist ini portrays the effect of industrialism, apathy of society towards poor children, orphans, and extreme exploitation from so-called upper class in the time, ma'am.
Thank you, Anissa. Okay, I was muted. Nasafa, you got something to say or move lihat? Thank you, Anissa. Let your friends complete your insight. Anyone, please? I'm waiting.
I think
Yes.
Oliver Twist tells us about sympathy and poverty Uh, dan juga ini terpotret dalam salah satu quote-nya yang saya tahu itu please sir I want some more. Nah itu tuh memperlihatkan betapa sosial pada saat Victoria, di mana Oliver itu meminta makanan lagi kepada bapak panti asuhannya yang merupakan lebih tinggi daripada dia dan lebih makmur hidupnya daripada dia.
So poverty is and social injustice is part of the theme covered in the story. And let me just ask one more person. Naomi, are you here, Naomi? 1 minute. Yes, Naomi, you are here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Go on.
Same like others, ma'am, the story tells about poverty in society, and also Charles Dickens portrays the cruel life of the workplace where Oliver has to suffer from poverty, ma'am. Like he asks for food, but he gets bad food like that, ma'am.
Thank you, Naomi. And look. Okay, let me just finish my report. Your attendance report first. Ya, saya sedang cek kehadiran sebentar ya, sekalian. Kadang saya ini apa itu kalau di belakang suka sok lupa ya, jadi saya lakukan sekarang. Anggra tadi ada ya, Anggra.
Anggra izin, ma'am.
Enggak ada, ya. Bisa benerin. Oke. Halo Fajar, kok belum dengar suaranya aku Fajar? Yang nggak hadiri Anselmus, Ramadhani, Ramita, Aulia, Zeni, Anggra. Saya belum cek WA, kalau saya nanti menemukan izin karena alasan misalnya kampus mengajar atau apa, nanti statusnya saya ganti dari tidak hadir
ma'am.
Menjadi izin. Ramita ya, hadir Ramita. Ya, saya salah sebut, maaf. Okay, yeah. Okay, yep, let me just continue. Okay, so we will stop share screen and then share screen again. Mana tadi ya? Where was it? Okay, so we were all talking about this, yeah. So thank you for the insights, what you learned from Google and probably your by recalling what you learned before about Oliver Twist. Yeah, you now you know what the story was about, the ideology that the author was trying to say, reveal, and then also the context and then the story itself, the setting, etc. Now, this thesis, this research was trying to dig out the ideology of lexical choices. The ideology of lexical choices. So if you are interested in working on literature or literary works, this might be one example that can inspire you how to work on this. And the thing is that this is interesting because it's it focuses on the translation of the word. So how ideology is transferred or the ideology is manifested in the original text and in the translation. So here is the thing, okay? Um, Let me just read it for you. This is the abstract of the research. So in August 2006, Radical Daily uncovered a scandal concerning the distorted versions of works classic indicated on a book list named 100 Essential Readings approved by the Turkish Minister of Education. So you see here that every country has its own ideology in allowing which books can be read by its citizens, its people. Yeah, and Turkey has listed 100 essential readings, yeah, approved for educational purpose. Fajar, hello Fajar,
Yes, ma'am.
can you read the next sentence, please?
I'm so sorry, ma'am. My mother uh, talked with me that deep. Um, which sentence, ma'am?
The next sentence, the second sentence in the
Okay.
paragraph.
Radical found out that some Islamist-oriented publishers printed and released well-known world classics by inserting their Islamic ideology into them.
Go on.
This issue has drawn the attention of people from diverse and, at the same time, interrelated fields such as education, literature, and translation.
Can you learn from the sentences that you just read? Use your own words. So what issue that became problematic in this thesis? That is the insertion of Islamic ideology into some, yeah, into some of these well-known novels. Originally, there was no Islamic ideology, but because it was published in Turkey, the government was trying to insert some Islamic value into the story. That what made the issue problematic. That was the issue that the author or the researcher was trying to investigate. The next paragraph. Laura, can you read the next paragraph, Laura?
Yes, ma'am. The aim of this thesis is to scrutinize the ideological aspect in five different abridged Turkish versions of Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, 1838, published by Dimas Damla, Nehir, Karanfil, and Tomurcuk publishing houses in terms of the lexical choices made in the translation process.
Go on.
Ideology is regarded as a discursive practice referring to a set of beliefs and values that constitute the worldviews of the publishers that are assumed to have produced uh, it's not clear. I can read the
All right.
last.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So the goal of the research objective of the research is to examine the ideological aspect. So there were five different versions. Abridged one, ya abridged itu yang apa itu? Versi yang diringkas itu ya. The apa kalau kalian bilang tuh apa?
Simplified.
Simplified. Yes, thank you. So there were five simplified versions of Charles Dickens in Turkey, and produced by five different publishers. And the research was trying to find out the lexical choices in the translation process and trying to see the ideology underlying the production. So this is what we are doing in this course analysis. So we take care, we care about the producers, okay? And here it is mentioned five different publishers. Next, the next paragraph. Sasa, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Yes, ma'am. Through this critical discourse analysis, PDA, of its five Turkish versions, it has been found out that several points in Oliver Twist have been subject to ideologically oriented manipulations in the translation process. That is, there seems to be a great number of discrepancies between the original Oliver Twist and its five different abridged Turkish versions. These discrepancies signal the intervention of the religious conservative ideology. By exploring the relationship between ideology and translation through a case study, the thesis also aimed to raise further questions that shall be taken up in the future studies. The keyword for this thesis is ideology, lexicalization, rewriting, manipulation, 100 essential readings.
Thank you, Sasa. Take 2 minutes to read this again. Ya, setiap orang tolong 1 menit baca lagi hasil dari penelitian ini ya, and use your own words to re-express what the research has found out. Sorry. Okay, Fifi, say something about this, please. Just use your own word. Sorry, Fifi, we cannot hear you.
Yes,
Yep, now it's good now. Okay, go on, Fifi. Thanks, Fifi.
yes. So the finding of this research is that there are ideology aspects in the simplified version that embodies uh, which embodies in the lexical choice in the translation process with underlying an ideology that is an invention of a religious ideology of Turkish.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Vivi. Yep. Okay, so let me just make it now brief right now because I need to move to the next paper. Yep. So in short, that this is how CDA works in this case in literary work and particularly in its translation. How lexical choices may represent can represent the producer. In this case, there's kind of like ideology oriented manipulation. So and manipulation is one of key issue in CDAs. How language is used to manipulate meaning. Yeah, and in this case the particular ideology being mentioned is religious conservative ideology. So there is a strong correlation here between ideology and translation. And the detail, you may Google this research. The title of, is this the ideology of lexical choices in the Turkish translation of Oliver Twist. You may Google this for the details if you want to know the process of the analysis, analytical tool, and the methods, and the detailed findings of how the lexical choices are represented there. Please go to Google and find the full text. Yeah, you might want to read the full PDF. Just go ahead, and that it's available there worldwide. Okay, so I guess I can now leave this. This is a case study of how CDA can work in written text. Now let me just move to the next one that is about multimodality. Yeah. So um, so in the past 2 weeks we were talking about spoken text and then now written text and then now I'll move to multimodal. Okay, and I said two files in our WhatsApp group. And I want to focus on machine work. Can you see it now in the screen?
Yes,
Machine,
ma'am.
yes, and you may also, if you have difficulty in looking at my screen, then you can have a look and download the file from our WhatsApp group. Yeah. So if you are interested in a multimodality, you may have a look at the work of Machin. Machin is quite new. I mean, however, he has produced more than 70 articles on multimodality, and also he has had a lot of many book chapters and books on uh, multimodality. When we are talking about multimodality, it's easier to say actually multimodality instead of multimodal discourse analysis. Sometimes people call it MDA, multimodal discourse analysis. However, in particular, we are going to talk about how multimodal text can be approached from CDA perspective. Yeah, we make it even critical. Yeah. So here are the examples. Yeah, let me just read this for you. I put this in our WhatsApp group. Discourses are communicated not only through political speeches, news items, literary work, yeah, but through entertainment media such as computer games, movies, in the social and material culture of everyday life, such as fashion, toys, music, architecture, town planning, and in the every ways that we engage our bodies and interact. Discourses are communicated through different kinds of semiotic resources, different modes idealized through different genres. And it is at this level that many people most frequently experience these discourses as fun, yes, as style, and simply as part of the taken for granted everyday world, even if on other more or less tangible levels they feel their power over them. And this is the thing, guys. On these different levels of communicative activity are infused by and shaped by power relations and ideologies. So here we are. Let's look at something fun, something enjoyable, because when you are doing MMDA, you'll be dealing with multimodal text with that uses more than one semiotic mode, so it can be the mix of spoken, written, of visual, of video, yeah, modes. Music can be there, yeah. Computer games can be there. Computer games has symbols, has visual mode, has a spoken mode, written mode. So all the things there. Yeah. Okay. Movies is quite multimodal because what it uses more than two semiotic modes. Advertisement, iklan, yeah, commercials. They also use more than two semiotic modes. So the analysis from the start, we can imagine that it's gonna be more complicated. Yeah, because again, you do not just focus on one semiotic mode. You may, let's say, if you are looking at an advertisement, sederhana saja ya, iklan, oke, iklan kecantikan wadah. Mungkin Anda mau menganalisis ideologi di balik konsep beauty di iklan wadah halal yang dengan konsep halal Indonesia. Ya, misalnya. Anda tidak hanya menganalisis teksnya, teks yang tertulis. Anda tidak hanya menganalisis spoken word, kata-kata yang disampaikan oleh model, tapi Anda menganalisis gesturnya juga. Gaze, tatapan mata, oke? Okay? Kemudian facial mimic, tangannya dan sebagainya, fashion yang dipakai, kenapa selalu warna itu, kenapa selalu itu, what is represented by the white skin, bright skin, kenapa kalau iklan wadah itu pasti yang dipakai bukan ibu-ibu, tetapi kok kenapa selalu wanita muda yang berkarya, yang aktif, kenapa yang dipakai sebagai model adalah selalu wanita dengan kulit putih, gadis dengan kulit putih. Kenapa bukan seperti Bu Susan yang apa adanya? Kenapa yang cantik kelihatan ceria, energi? Apa ideologi di balik itu yang ingin disampaikan oleh wadah itu? Okay. You might be interested in, okay, website-website Korea. Website-website Korea yang mengiklankan cosmetic surgery, ya, bedah wajah, ya, operasi wajah, operasi, ya. Lihat website mereka, tampilannya, oke? Okay? Dan Anda analisis di situ. Apa yang dipakai, model yang dipakai seperti apa, kemudian produknya, tampilannya seperti apa, dan sebagainya. ya. So, see, you might want to look at them, ya, itu contoh. Kembali ke wadah lagi misalnya, atau kembali ke Dove, ya, Dove, iklan Dove, ya. Kira-kira if you're interested in the lexical choices, kalau Anda mungkin mau sekalian beberapa iklan kecantikan, kemudian Anda lihat ya lexical choicesnya, ya. Mungkin nanti Anda akan menemukan bahwa kata-kata yang paling sering dipakai adalah misalnya anti-aging, ya. Misalnya glowing. Apalagi kira-kira yang suka dipakai Jihan dalam iklan-iklan kecantikan itu?
Kulit cerah, halus.
Nabila, kira-kira apa Nabila Faya? Di iklan-iklan itu?
Cantik alami.
Ya, alami ya. Oke, ada kata baru ya, alami ya. Nah, you may have a look at the lexical choices of these some brands, ya, and see what they're trying to say in the concept of beauty in the modern age within the context of Muslim Indonesia, ya, atau bagaimana, ya, itu interesting. Nah, itulah yang dilakukan dalam MMDA, CDA, ya. Kalau MMDA saja mungkin Anda tidak perlu masuk ke ideology of the producer, ya. Nah, kan Anda tahu bahwa ideologinya akhirnya bunyinya ke commercialism. Mereka tahu targetnya adalah Muslim girls yang care about the beauty, kemudian gimana supaya terjual dengan laris. Maka salah satu isu yang paling gampang dan paling menarik adalah soal kehalalan, soal Anda melihat pasti model yang di wadah itu modelnya lembut, kelihatan alim, cantik. Nah, itu yang disukai ya. Dan seperti itu ya, mungkin Anda akan membandingkan dengan beberapa iklan lain dan sebagainya. Oke, ya itu introduction saya. And Anda kalau tertarik dengan itu, Anda pasti harus melihat karya-karyanya Theo van Leeuwen. Theo van Leeuwen itu foundernya yang mulai dari 2013 ya. Itu belum lama ya. Theo van Leeuwen saya pernah bertemu beberapa kali. Ya. Dan lihat coba di webnya Critical Discourse Studies, banyak sekali ya. Multimodal Critical Discourse Analysis disingkat dengan MCDS ya. Oke, silakan membaca itu semua ya. Nah, ini Bu Susan memberikan gambaran secara umum. Nah, Anda akan melihat bahwa this will be the first one. This will be multidisciplinary, ya. Multidisciplinary. You need to read a lot, yeah, because there will be a lot of ideas, concepts, and ways that theories offered by the interdisciplinary approach. You need to read that one. Okay, I will skip. Saya langsung pada beberapa case studies, ya. Oke, ini silakan baca. Paper ini nggak panjang, 11 halaman saja. Tapi kalau Anda tertarik dengan teori pendekatan ini, Anda perlu membaca karena di situ memberikan saran tentang beberapa referensi yang berguna, ya. Oke. Nah, jadi ada Van Leeuwen dan Press, TRISS ini gampang sekali diingat. Itu kalau Anda mau MCDS, Anda harus baca karya mereka. Plus punyanya si Macin ini juga banyak mereview ini tentang MCDS. Ya, kemudian saya langsung ke case tadi. Nah, ini. Oke, ini beberapa ini. Nah, kalau mau melihat full papernya, tinggal Anda lihat di referensi di Google ya. Oke, sekarang saya minta baca ya. Ini by Macin and Mail. Ya, tolong dibacakan sebentar. Tolong bacakan dulu Lu. Yang pas saya di layar ini Lu. The paper by
Uh,
yeah.
the paper by Machen and Meyer looks at the way the MCDC can enhance our analysis of factual crime reports on television, showing how narration and images serve slightly different roles in the personalizations and decontextualization of crime and the legitimation of policing, all service to distract from the fundamental connection between what is defined in our society as crime and social disadvantage and poverty.
Alright, so datanya adalah narasi, ya, dan image dalam crime reports di TV, ya. Kalau di Indonesia itu factual crime reports itu ya kayak pas apa itu sergapi ya, kayak gitu ya. Probably walaupun di situ ada sedikit drama gitu. Ya. Dan ini um, fokusnya adalah personalization, decontextualization of crime, and legitimization of policing. Jadi itu social issue yang diangkat. Kaitannya dengan disadvantage and poverty. Interesting. Ya. Kemudian Rahmita, can you read the next one?
The paper by Moran and Lee used a thematic discourse analysis to examine cosmetic surgery as companies use text and images on their websites to market surgical changes to women's genitals. The authors show that this surgery is naturalized and represented as part of a discourse of health, relaxation, and choice to care for or spoil yourself.
Oh, this is interesting. Naturalized. Because surgical changes to women's genitals for some countries are not acceptable, but the authors are trying to make it natural by putting it into the context of health, relaxation, yeah, health. Oh, this is interesting. Yes, okay. Yes, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Yes, ma'am. The paper by Frederick uses mainly social actor and transitivity analysis, along with observations on sound, to look how a flourish of vision at birth, showing robots as workers, reveals contemporary models of workforce relations where employees are invited into a superficial sense of equality through being part of a team as co-invested workers and as stakeholders. All of this, in fact, conceals actual remoteness of management often experiences through complex layers of bureaucracy.
Ya, thank you. Ya, ini SFL ya, pakai Systemic Functional Linguistics. Ya, ini lebih kompleks lagi. Ya, ada workforce relation. Ini workplace, konteksnya in workplace. Ya. Alright, Laura, can you read the next one?
The paper by Walk and Catalano uses metonym analysis in a cognitive linguistic framework to look at the subtle yet ideologically powerful ways that Latino migrants and Wall Street corporate criminals are represented in text and image to shape events and actions in each case to either criminalize or decriminalize.
Alright, thank you. This is again another example of social injustice. Laura, next one.
Next paragraph, ma'am.
Yes, please.
In their paper on Marvel Comics Veloso and Batman use a semiotic and broader discursive analysis to show how political policies are legitimized not only through speeches but also through entertainment media and popular culture. In this analysis, the authors show how the discourses that underpin the US Patriot Act, with its need to surrender personal freedom to state, can be found realized in stories about superheroes.
Oke, yang tertarik dengan popular culture mungkin kayak Wafi, Fajar dan teman-teman ya. Gimana you want ini mau membahas tentang superheroes, silakan lihat seperti ini ya. Oke, sekarang ini ada banyak sekali. Let me see if we have enough time. Putri, can you read the next one, Putri?
The paper by Westergaard examined the advertisement used by humanitarian organizations and how these have used different discourses over 40 years to iconography of image and text. We find a switch from passive, anonymous, decontextualized victim to those with agency and the making of connection with cultural resonance of viewers.
Thank you very much. So let me just sum up. So when our societies, there are so many available semiotic sources, yeah, and that are used in many creative, fresh new ways as means of communication. At the moment, you have your VR group, for example. Our VR group communication involves various semiotic modes. So it can be voice notes, pictures, videos, yeah. Emoticons. So VR group itself is an example of multimodal um, communication. Yeah, there are so many things interesting. Yeah, and you might want to go further with that by trying to find out their values. Yeah, people see things for like MMDA in different ways. I would say it's something fun. It has so much pleasure in there. So when then now as a discourse analyst, you might be interested in looking at the linguistic perspective of the data of the available data, and you may start thinking from now whether you will be interested in doing this MMDA. So there have been so many works on using MMDA theory in our departments. For example, well, other than advertisement, some of them are working on cartoon, memes, yeah, meme, and then uh, yang sudah mainstream itu speech ya, yang sudah mainstream mungkin Anda perlu uh, dan yang berbeda ya, speech itu terlalu mainstream, sudah mainstream ya. Ya silakan you might want to look at popular culture, pop culture yang lebih up to date. Well, then the next week we will be working on this ya, karena mulai minggu depan kita mulai explore what have we done in the area of CPA. Ya, tentu saja ada ribuan, ada ratusan, tapi saya hanya ingin Anda melihat a minimum of 10 how the principles of CPA have been practiced by the um, by the previous researchers. Gitu ya, everyone. I hope today can give you some insights into how MMDA, and it is fun, I have to say. Yeah. Ini yang saya bilang tadi tentang David Martin. Please have a look, bisa di Google. Ini semua Kalau Anda mau belajar membuat paper dan kemudian mengacu pada list dari referensi ini, cek referensi ini membantu Anda untuk memahami lebih lagi. Jadi jangan kesusu, misalnya lihat paper ini bagus terus tapi kemudian coba lihat kalau ini jelas berhubungan, ini ada webnya, saya berhubungan dengan apa yang didiskusikan oleh Macin ini di atas, ya itu akan membuat pemahamannya Anda utuh gitu ya, sehingga Anda tidak perlu tersekat di jalan. Gitu, okay. Enjoy your breakfast. I will see you next week if you do not have questions.